representative, any word on her? Okay. Okay. All right. You ready to go, John? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Gordon Larson. The correct title is Colonel Gordon Larson. I'm the wing commander of the Illinois Civil Air Patrol, and we are here today to honor one of our founders. And it's a pleasure, and I thank each and every one of you for your attendance here today to help recognize this gentleman. He's sitting to my right. Most of you know him, but I'll quickly introduce him as Mr. Charles Compton. We will be beginning our ceremony here today with the presentation of the colors. So I would ask those who can to stand, and for my fellow CAP members, room 10, present colors. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a seat. This is a very exciting, I'll stand back, I have a loud voice and I apologize, event for us. This happens to be the second member of the state of Illinois who has been recognized for his or her service during World War II as a civilian volunteer in the defense of the nation. We are very honored today to have Mr. Compton, soon to be Colonel Compton, his son Michael, his wife Diane, daughter Emma, and grandnephew Brian. I don't know if you came in from the coast, but the three of them came in from California. Your brother Arthur can't make it and Ann couldn't make it, but their thoughts are with us today, and we're so happy and pleased that you're here. I would just like to make a couple quick introductions, if I may. This has been very important to us because we'll get to one of the reasons we're doing this. But to my right is my boss. This is Colonel Robert Carton. He is the region commander of the Great Lakes Region, Illinois Civil Air Patrol. There are 6 states, and he's our commander. We have Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio, yes, and the trouble Illinois people that I give him all the grief, and he tries to keep me in line. To my left, Major Brian Pacuda. He is the group commander. He works for me, and he is also in charge of several 6 squadrons here in the northern area of Illinois. We have a special guest here, Colonel Jeffries. If you're familiar, if you've been in the service, you know what that blue badge is. It's the Combat Infantry badge. Colonel Jeffries served during World War II in Italy, where he had the distinct displeasure of being the honored guest of the Wehrmacht for, how many months was it? 7 months. So he's an actual POW from World War II and a member of the Milwaukee Squadron. Captain Griggs, you're supposed to be up here. Yeah. Excuse me, Major Griggs. Major Griggs. He is the commander of the Milwaukee unit who has adopted Mr. Compton. And it was at their party last Christmas that Mr. Compton came forward and we found out about his history. And we thank you very much for yours. We have a special guest, soon to be, we call her senior member, Jill Paulson. Really the unique thing about this young lady is that her grandfather, Gil Rob Wilson, is basically the founder of CAP. This Mr. Compton over here worked for Gil Rob back in the 40s. And now Jill is here to help us in the ceremony that we will have here today with Mr. Compton. Other members that you see around here, just real quickly, I don't remember everyone's name, but I have a lot of the Milwaukee Squadron. Major Gillingham here has been writing a lot of the articles, and we appreciate the work that you've done. I have my wing staff members here. I never say it right, Ken, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Carl.
Major McGill is the easiest way to say his name. He's our historian, and we're going to be making copies of some of the things that Mr. Compton has, and also have my admin officer, Major Schakowsky. So we thank you for letting us participate in this lovely chapel here today to honor Mr. Compton. You wonder why we did this. I'm sure most of you have a better idea about what Civil Air Patrol did during World War II than a lot of people. These men and women were civilian volunteers. Mr. Compton told me that he left basically 2 jobs to come and volunteer and fly out of Atlantic City. Now, being from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, we used to vacation in Atlantic City, and I remember the boardwalk, and I remember the horses jumping off the tall tower into the big tank of water. And I even know where Bader Field is, where Mr. Compton flew out of. So it's just, when I found out about it, it was just all my history and youth came together, and it's just, wow, this is going to be an exciting day, and it is a very exciting day for me. So, Mr. Compton, we're all here for you, and we really appreciate your service. As I said, he ended up as commander of Sub-Base 1, or Atlantic City Base 1, at the end of 43, is when the Civil Air Patrol stopped patrolling. They patrolled from basically 42 until 1943, and once they went up flying those, as the Germans called it, the damn yellow planes, they stopped sinking a lot of our tankers and cargo ships that went up and down the coast. I fly for American Airlines, and I fly up and down the coast, and I'm looking out there at the shallow waters, and I can just imagine what Mr. Compton saw looking for submarines. My altitude is a little higher, but at his altitude he could still spot and prevent the submarines from attacking our convoys. So their service was monumental towards the survival of the United States in the early days of the war. So for you, we thank you. And you've also been a member of CAP. Oh yes, a little later at the reception, he has pictures of the 80 members of his squadron. So please take a moment to take a look at that. Mr. Compton is going to give a little talk about himself here in a few minutes. But what we're here today to do is honor Mr. Compton. And at this time, I'd like to invite his son Michael and his wife Diane to come forward. And who has the, no, not that, the, orders. I will read them, if I can find my glasses a second. Attention orders. Headquarters, Civil Air Patrol, U.S. Air Force Auxiliary, Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. Personal action, number NHQ 68, 6 June 2011. Announcement is made of the promotion of senior member Charles E. Compton, CAP, cap ID number 497928, to the grade of temporary colonel, effective 2 June 2011. Authority cap rank 39-3 and NEC 6 November 2006. The Civil Air Patrol Distinguished Service Medal is awarded to Colonel Compton. We'll do that in a minute. But at this time, I would ask both Diane and Michael if they would make Mr. Compton, Colonel Compton, in the Civil Air Patrol. Lifetime award. I just need this one. Oh, stand over here, cadet, because it's always better with the cadets. Mr. Compton, or excuse me, roll call already. Colonel Compton. This is a plaque that makes you a lifetime member in the Civil Air Patrol for all your duty since 1942. We thank you so much for what you have done. At this time, our important award is to honor Colonel Compton with the Distinguished Service Medal. This Distinguished Service Medal is one of the highest medals that Civil Air Patrol hands out to people who have been members and have distinguished themselves, naturally, with their years of service or unique service to Civil Air Patrol. Being one of the original sub-chasers, I think that is probably high on the list of distinguishing oneself. So again, those who can stand, please do. For my members, Colonel Carton.
Attention orders. Citation to accompany Distinguished Service Medal to Charles E. Compton. Colonel Charles E. Compton, Civil Air Patrol, distinguished himself by outstanding performance of duty during the period of 28 February 1944 through 1941 through 31 August 1944 as a member of the 1st Coastal Patrol Base at Bader Field, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Colonel Compton willingly volunteered to serve his country by becoming one of the charter members of Civil Air Patrol. His devotion to duty and willingness to serve as a pilot and observer on missions to search for enemy submarines or to provide an escort for American convoys as they sailed along the Eastern Seaboard enabled Atlantic City Base 1 to successfully execute a number of sub-chaser missions to protect the shores of this country. Colonel Compton's support to the organization in the early years contributed greatly to the establishment of the strong foundation that enabled Civil Air Patrol to become an outstanding humanitarian organization supporting the United States and the United States Air Force. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Compton reflect great credit upon himself and Civil Air Patrol.
we'll have Gil Rob Wilson's granddaughter present this to us.